The Lord be with you. Gospel is taken from Mark chapter 10, verses 35 to 45. You'll find this one. It's on the page of the Pew Bible 47. James and John, the son of Zebedee, came forward to him and said to him, "Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you." And he said to them, "What is it you want me to do for you?" And they said to him, "Grant us to sit one at your right and one at your left in your glory." But Jesus said to them, "You do not know what you are asking. Are you able to drink the cup that I drink, or be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with?" They replied, "We are able." Then Jesus said to them, "The cup that I drink you will drink, and with the baptism with which I am baptized you will be baptized. But to sit at my right hand or at my left is not mine to grant, but it is for those for whom it has been prepared." When the 10 heard this, they began to be angry with James and John. So Jesus called them and said to them, "You know that among the Gentiles, those whom they recognize as their rulers lord it over with them, and their great ones are tyrant over them. But it is not so among you. But whoever wishes to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wishes to be first among you must be slave of all. For the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many." The Gospel of the Lord. Please be seated. God so loved the world that he gave his only Son to mankind. God loved us so much, unconditionally, unlimitedly. To that extent, he died. He gave his life for us. He saved us by giving his life. That's what we are called. We are called to learn a lesson from the Lord. This is my first sermon with a manuscript. This is my first sermon. If you look in Mark's Gospel, right before today's passage, Jesus has warned his apostles for the third time about his suffering, death, and resurrection that was soon to take place. Now, for the third time, we are told by Mark how the apostles had not the slightest idea of what he was talking about. The first time Jesus warned them, Peter told Jesus Jesus was talking about suffering and death. Jesus just could not happen. After the second time, the apostles were arguing over which of them was the most important one. Now, after Jesus' third prediction, James and John, who were among his first followers, the only two who were among with Peter, had witnessed the raising of the daughter of Jairus back to life. The only two who, along with Peter, had witnessed the resurrection and transfiguration. Two now want to be placed ahead of all the others when Jesus comes into his glory. James Edward notes, the preacher on Mark's gospel. The request of James and John is the third and most blatant example of human self-centeredness, in contrast to Jesus' humility and self-sacrifice. We can't fault them. Are not we often just as oblivious as they were of what God is doing in our lives? Are not we at times just as bold as they are, coming to God and telling him, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you? Jesus in a kindly way answered them, what is it you want me to do for you? And patiently explains what their request would involve, drinking the cup of suffering he would have to drink, and that it was up to their heavenly Father to give them what they wanted. He also took occasion to teach all of them once more a lesson on how to really become great and important, not by being self-serving, but by serving others just as Jesus came to do. Being a servant does not mean allowing people to walk all over us. Jesus was not afraid to stand up for himself. A policeman who did not stop bad guys would not be serving anyone. A parent who always let their child have his own way would be a poor parent and would be doing a disservice to their child. A teacher who would let a student get by with cheating or not doing their work would be a poor servant as well as a poor teacher. Seeking power is divisive for a community. A major contrast in our text is the way of the world, with its position or rank and privilege, and the way of Jesus' followers. In Jesus' community, in Jesus' body, all are equal. Each person will have different gifts is in her or service to community, but all are equal. In other words, being a servant to others does not always gain popularity. Jesus knew he was making a lot of enemies by the work he was doing, healing, teaching, and attacking the evil spirits. He was nonetheless ready to lay down his life in order to serve others, even when people ignored him, misunderstood him, did not appreciate what he was doing, or hated for it. Why would he do all of that? There was no other reason except love. I am using the word love not to refer an emotional or sentimental feeling necessarily, but as a desire to do what one can do to help others. It is the same kind of love Jesus asked of us. A new commandment I give you, that you love one another as I have loved you. At the Last Supper, Jesus did something to demonstrate to his apostles a lesson he had spent his entire life trying to teach them. He washed the feet of each one of them. I have given you a new example to follow you, so that as I have done for you, you should also do. This world is made up of givers and takers. You see, this is in business, in social, and in family relations. I see it a lot in the church. As Christians, we are called to be givers. Some years ago, I attended to a man who was dying of cancer. He dealt with his suffering with a great deal of peace. He told me one of the things that gave him peace was that in life he always tried to give more than he had taken. Richard Jensen gives an example of ransom proclamation which could conclude a sermon. Through stories, Jesus speaks to us this way. He says, I have come to fulfill Isaiah's dream. I have come to bear your infirmities. I have come to be wounded for your transgressions. I have come to bless your life with the blessings of God. You may not want my blessing. You may wish to condemn me. You may wish to kill me. Push me out on the world onto a cross. I go through the cross to bless you. I will go through the hell itself to bless you. I have come to give my life as a ransom for many. We ask the Lord to help us to follow his examples of love. As we celebrate now the love of one who gave his life as a ransom for all of us. Amen.